Hello and welcome back, RBG family and friends. Today we are in the RBG kitchen. Once again, we are going to be making what I have been promising you guys for a while. We are dabbling into Puerto Rican sofrito. Now, mind you guys, I'm sure that you can find this recipe in the community done many ways, but this is how my mom has taught me to make it since I was a little girl. So I'm going to pass this recipe along to you guys, and I hope that you can either recreate it, make it your own, add something to it. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. But this is what I have panned in front of you, so let's discuss. The first thing in your right hand side, what we have is your ajisito. This is your sweet pepper. This is also your tiny ones. Some people confuse them with your Jamaican ones. Those, please don't get those because it's going to make your sofrito very spicy. Next to that, we have your red bell peppers. I have 7 if I'm not mistaken. We also have the green bell peppers. Those I have 6. I also have 1 pack of yellow onions. I don't know exactly the counts of those. I most likely won't be using all of them, but have them there for the sake of just panning out what we will be using. In front or next to that, I have 2 bunches of recao. Next to that, in the same glass container, I have 2 bunches of cilantrillo. I have a whole pound of peeled garlic. In the mason jar, I have some filtered water. And the gadget of choice that I will be using to process all this produce is my Ninja blender. I love this guy. I've been using it for many years. I've used other blenders before, and I don't even know if I can categorize this as a blender. I don't know exactly where this fits. It does many things, and I have to be honest, I don't, I guess, use it in its true potential because I really only use it for my sofrito. And I love what it does for these things. I can grind it or blend it to its fine consistency, or I can leave it chunky. I love how I can change the consistency of my sofrito. So this machine is phenomenal. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this so I can show you how I cut the produce, the actual size that I leave the produce so that the machine can process it. And to be honest, the Ninja is amazing at breaking everything down, that I really don't think that you really need to cut the produce down to tiny sizes, and you will see exactly this portion on how I leave it. Now, all this produce has already been washed, so we just need to get into it and get things done. Now, one thing that I do want to point out that I have here sitting on top of my stove, I have seen in the community another YouTuber, now it was my husband that actually pointed this out. She used these ice cube trays, if you will. That's exactly what it is, and they have a cover that goes over them, and I want to try this because I usually store my sofrito in just the green tub containers and put them in my freezer, because now when I use this amount of produce, obviously I'm using to make a lot, because I only like to go out and buy in bulk and put them in my freezer because it stores very well in the freezer, and then when I need them, I just pop them out, thaw them in my fridge, and I use them as I cook. Now, I thought this was an amazing idea by this YouTuber. She's a chef, I forgot her name. She puts them in ice cube, and this is actually has a silicone bottom, and you can actually push that silicone bottom up and it just pops out the ice cube. But in this case, it would be an ice cube sofrito, and then you can just put it into your caldero, your well, in my case, it would be my enamel cast iron, and use it in your stews, your soup, your rice, whatever it is that you would be doing that would need your sofrito. So I think it's a phenomenal idea, and I went ahead and purchased this in Amazon, and I think it brings four, and it was an $11.99, and each one has its own lid. So I'm gonna try to put some on these ice cube trays and give it a go. I think it's an amazing idea that that YouTuber had. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn you guys around and give you clips and bits of how I cut some of these produce. I'm not gonna try to make the video too long, and then I'll show you the finished product. So let's go after it. All right, so as you can see, I chose to do 6 out of the 7 because I don't want it to have too much of a bell peppery taste. And I'm gonna do the 6 of the green, so I'm gonna just balance both of them out. So I already did 5 of them, and I reserved the 1 so you can see me cut it, obviously. So what I like to do is back in the days I just used to just go karate chop it on right here, but now what I do is I just literally just insert my knife, and I try to stay as close as I can to the stem right here where it grew from, and that literally hopefully just detaches the whole thing. And I put my finger in there and just take this piece out. Now when I was little, if you want to hear a little story time, it'll be real quick. I used to save these seeds and actually grow them. Now a lot of people say, you know, since these are not heirloom or whatnot, I don't know, and they're store bought, because they're, I guess, open pollinated or whatnot. I don't know the story behind it all. You know, I'm not an expert at any of this. You know, they don't grow true to the, you know, to what you have here, or true to the plant or whatnot or whatever. Anywho's, you normally don't get, you know, what you have here in your hands. You get something else or something close to it or whatnot. But you know, me as a child, I don't know any better, and as an adult obviously it hasn't changed, which is why I buy my seeds, you know, from reputable people that give me heirloom, which is what I prefer. But you know, I was happy. I lived in an apartment building. Obviously I never had land. I mean, I don't have land now. I grew up from my backyard. But it never grew to, you know, get much fruit, but I was happy with at least growing the plants, and as a child that was enough for me. But anywho's, now I just take this and just pretty much toss it out to the garbage, which I have behind you guys, and then take this to the garbage can and shake out as much seeds as I can. And then what I like to do is just literally just split it in half. As you can see, now it's 2 halves, and now at that point I just like to devein it, as you can see right there, as much as I can without losing any flesh, because it's very valuable, the flesh, because these things are really expensive. That flesh will be garbage, or if you compost, it'll be compost. Here we don't. At one point I would love to do that, but we're not there yet. And you know, we do the same thing to the other half, and there you go. I mean, it's just beautiful. And then at that point I just literally just go down. I try to cut it in 3, not equal parts, but you know, semi, and they pretty much look like this. And I picked the small cutting board, and at this point I just go straight down with my knife, and what I'm looking for is just pretty much something like this. I mean, they're not symmetrical or equal at any point. I mean, because you know, these bell peppers were all in different sizes. When I was in the supermarket, I tried to get, you know, like the biggest ones that I could, but you know, the bigger the size, the bigger the price once it came to the cash register. But this is pretty much what, you know, I'm doing, because it really doesn't matter. You know, it's not like I'm trying to sit here and throw them whole into the Ninja processor, or you know, the Ninja blender, but trying to help it out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to continue with the green bell peppers, and it's pretty much the same process. Since I have you guys here, I guess I might as well just show you the first one, and then off camera I'll do the other ones. So these are a little squattier, as you can see. The red ones are more elongated. It's so funny how they do them, or how they grow. It's funny. So it's pretty much the same process. I go right into, oh, this one's a little tougher. So I try to go right into the middle as much as I can and stay close to that stem where it grew from. Same process. Once I'm there, if I can hold it from the stem, I will. Take it out completely. Go to the garbage. Right down to the bottom. They are very fresh, guys. Try to devein as much as I can. I mean, you can hear it. I mean, at least I can, and feel it, you know, when you like cut them, because you can hear the crunch. Now, mind you guys, I don't eat these things. I can't stand vegetables. If you know, you know. If you're a true watcher, you know that I can't stand vegetables. And there you have it, guys. This is pretty much the green bell pepper, and look how beautiful they are. I mean, they're gorgeous. You know, they're expensive, but they're gorgeous. I mean, they're not homegrown, but you know, somebody grew them, and they're beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these guys pretty much the same way that I cut the red ones. This one I'm actually gonna be able to get 4 slices out of that 1/2. Now I'm not gonna be able to get, you know, the same sizes on the long side. I was able to get 3 slices, or 3, you know, chunks long wise on them, but you know, it is what it is. If I cut them smaller, I can get 4 chunks, but it, you know, it's your preference. As you see, smaller sizes, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going for size, I'm just going for the end products here. And I'm throwing them all together with the red bell peppers. They're all going together because once they come into the blender, it's all going to break down together, because sofrito is a blend of everything. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the green bell peppers, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm doing the rest. All right, so now that all the green bell peppers are done, I did 6 like I stated already, and they are all nestled into this pot, and it filled the whole thing up. Oh, not pot. They are nestled all into this glass Tupperware. It filled it up completely. Look at this. I mean, the color is so vibrant. I'm so proud of them. So now we're gonna move on to the ajisito, the sweet pepper, and this is what they look like. This is what you want to get, and these are expensive, guys. They have gone up. I remember back in the days, which is not that so far long ago, maybe even when I last made sofrito, which was a couple of months ago, for this pack maybe was about $2 and change, so it's ridiculous. It says here that they are $8.99 per pound, and this is literally half a pound, guys. Half a pound, not even. It's a couple of ounces shy to the pound. It's ridiculous. Anywho's, so I'm not gonna put this whole thing in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and open them, and I'll wash them after I have cleaned them. So what I like to do, and they're pretty tiny. So what I like to do is, you know, literally just take the little stem off. And then from there, I have this little basket here that I'm going to use to put my garbage in, so I don't have to come back and forth. And I literally just like pop it open. Like I just like, you know, squish it down. And at that point, I literally just like to half it. And I like to just get as much seeds off of it as I can. Some of it will go to the floor, but obviously, you know, at the end of the day, when you're cleaning up your kitchen, what do? You sweep and mop, right? So it is what it is. And I like to put gloves on for this because I don't like the smell of it on my hands. I don't mind the bell pepper with this. I don't know. It just, again, you're watching somebody with, you know, a lot of headspace issues. So which the same thing with the bell peppers. I just like to just shake it, and usually I'm pretty good at the shake method and it all pretty much comes off, and that's what we're left with. And at that point, I have another glass bowl just waiting for me at the sink, and I'll just put it in there and move on with the next one. I usually try to get a packet that has a lot of the red ones, because I like, you know, a lot of these in red, the color red, but they didn't have them with a lot of red color. So it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with these. I'm probably gonna end up maybe doing like 10 to 15 of them, because I have a lot of bell peppers, or I'm gonna be making a lot of sofrito, and I want them to just kind of shine a little bit and not be too muted. So let me continue the process, and I'll bring you guys back in later on. All right, so they are all in there. I did literally 15 of them, as I promised. Now we're just going to put the garlic. I don't even bother chopping these guys in. And I told you guys we love garlic here, and it smells amazing. Like I said, I'm really hesitant to throw the whole thing in there. To that much. What the heck? Let's do it. We did it. Now, the last thing. Well, I lied to you. The second to last thing is our recao and our cilantrillo, which if it gets in frame, let's pick it up. And our cilantrillo. The only reason why I do cut it, and I'm not gonna cut it finely. Ain't nobody about that life. Ooh. The only reason why I cut it finely is because I don't want it to get tangled up in the blender. So these are pretty much long leaves. So, and they're already washed, like I stated in the beginning of the video. I hope I did. I can't remember. So what I do is I just literally just go half down. That's pretty much it. So I cut them in half and toss them in there. That's it. It's as simple as that. And I literally just had 2 bunches of recao and 2 bunches of cilantrillo. So it is that simple, guys. Take it. This is the cilantrillo now that I'm doing. Just cut it in half. Punch it back in your hands and just put it in the bowl. So let me finish off the cilantrillo and we will come right back. All right, so we are doing the last item that we have to do for the sofrito, and it's the onions. So I ended up cutting, well, I'm gonna end up cutting 5. I have 2 of them that are on the bigger side, 2 of them that are medium, and 1 that is actually small. And to save us grace time to actually be crying over the sofrito, which my eyes are already watering, I went ahead and peeled them in advance. For these guys, I don't do anything fancy, to be honest, because like I said, you know, the Ninja blender is gonna really literally pulverize this. All I do is literally just quarter them. So half down, and then keep them literally together. Don't even think about splitting it. And then the other way, half down, and you literally end up with 4 quarters, and I just literally just throw it in. And the faster you do it, the better it is. And I mean, at that point, you just literally just slice through it, because at that point my nose is starting to water. So last one, the baby for last, and there you have it. So at this point, I have the Ninja set up and hooked up at the outlet. So I'm gonna move you guys over there so we can get this started. So here we are at the Ninja blender. So we are getting ready to get started to make our sofrito. Now, many years ago, I used to put oil as my additive so that it can give some oomph to the sofrito, so it can have something to help the produce to start liquefying. I have found that well, it's adding more oil to your food. That's one, and two, it wasn't helping it. Well, it wasn't helping preserve it as much. Now, everybody do you. Don't come for me. That's just how I feel. So now what I do is I just add water. Um, so that's what we have here. We have filtered water, and that's what we're going to be doing. So I have this station. Well, it was station. I guess it lost it. So let's try that again. This lever here helps you station it so that when it's starting to liquefy stuff, it does not move. So the lever here, it says unlock and lock. So right now it's unlocked. I'm going to try to pressurize it down and lock it. So now it's not going to move. I'm going to go ahead and take the top off. This used to have a little lid here, and I have it somewhere in this kitchen. Gotta look for it. So for now, I don't fill it all the way up to the top. Sometimes I do, but then it liquefies all the way back to the bottom. So I just put a little bounty on top of it, and it's all good. It has a little arrow here. I got to make sure that that arrow is in conjunction with this arrow here. If not, it won't start. Here it has the locking mechanisms. You just have to make sure that you put it on right, and then you'll hear that click and it'll lock. Then from there, you also have to make sure that this little pin is insecure with this hole here, and then your cap will fit in nice and secure there. You have your button here that is power, and you know that it will go on power when you see it lighting red. Then you have your pulse button, so that you'll just hit pulse, 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 and you control it manually. Here you can do dough if you want to do bread dough. I don't know if I don't think it would be this blade. I think it's a different blade that you would probably have to purchase on your own. Then you also have blend and then crush, like if you want to crush ice or want to make smoothies and whatnot. But usually when I'm doing my sofrito, I go blend and crush. I start off usually with blend, and then from blend I go to crush if I want to make it finer. So let's go ahead and start this. So I'm going to remove the top. I'm going to add some filtered water. It's like about half a cup of water, and that's just to get it started. And then I'm going to get rid of these pesky onions because they're still attacking my eyes. So I just literally just throw, well, throw is not a pretty word. So I just put in a combination of stuff. I know that when my mom, she does the sofrito, she says that she likes to you know, add the things and make it all pretty. So she'll add a little bit of onions, and then she'll add a little bit of peppers, and then she'll add a little bit of cilantrillo, and then she'll add a little bit of recao. And I'm like, Mom, I feel like you're overcomplicating stuff. I just throw in the stuff, and then later you're going to add everything into, whether it's a pot, a glass bowl, a plastic bowl, whatever's your fancy, whatever you have in your kitchen, you do you. And you're gonna mix everything together before you put it in the ending storage unit that you're going to store it in. So I don't complicate it once I'm in the blender. I just make sure that everything gets blended down to my consistency, and then I go from there. So we're just going to continue to build on until, make sure you don't touch those blades because those things are sharp. I don't care how old this thing is. And we just continue to just put in as much as we can just to start the first round. I think that's just enough to just get the blend acclimated to what it has inside. So we're gonna line up the arrows and we're gonna go ahead and clamp it down, and at that point it locks. Once it locks, it raises this little button here. I'm gonna go ahead and get my 2 bounty sheets because the Lord knows I need it. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start at blend number 2. All right, so that was from blend. I moved up to crush for a couple of seconds before I turned it off. And as you can see, I was able to bring everything that was on top all the way down and crush it down completely to a nice consistency. Now, the reason why I do like to start with onions is because they do contain or are a consistency of a lot of water on top of the water that I already added there. So they also aid on adding a liquid onto the sofrito. So I'm going to continue to build onto this sofrito until I make the rest of it. So at this point, I've already gone through 1 bowl. And I have only 1 bowl to go, and as you can see, the blender is completely full. So I'm gonna take the top off. I'm gonna go ahead and set this on the sink, and I'm gonna try and show you guys the consistency of it with the spoon. So it's a metal spoon. I'm gonna try not to hit the blade. And the consistency, it's beautiful. I don't know if you can, yeah, you guys can see that. It is very, very nice. It's nice and chunky and fine all at the same time. I don't like it to show like true chunks of anything. So the speed where I had it on while I was inserting the stuff into the blender was at number 2, and I kept it there at all time. Then when I knew that everything that I needed to incorporate in until it got full to the top where I could add no more, because I like to leave a little head space, then I moved it on to number 3, which is crush, and I left it there for at least a minute so I can get this nice smooth consistency. And then at that point I went back down to 2, and then I hit power, and this is where we're at now. So I washed the other clear bowl, which is a squattier but it's wider, and I'm going to pour most of this out. I am going to leave about a cup of it, which is the water that we started off with. I'm going to leave a cup of the sofrito in, so that can be our liquid, if you will, so we can continue the remaining of it. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I emptied it out, and I left literally a cup, or a little less than a cup. With the foam, it looks a little bit to the cup line. So I'm gonna go ahead and regroup, and this is what I have left to put in. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this, and then I'm gonna conjoin it with its brothers and sisters on the other side, which looks like this. That's a lot. Let's see if I can hold it with, there we go. That's a lot. So, and it smells amazing, guys. It smells beautiful. I mean, to think about that is the start of mainly or most of our dishes, at least in the Hispanic households, is just phenomenal. And it's so simple to make. Yes, it is tedious to like clean and cut and chop and this and that, but once you get over all of that and we're at this stage, it just moves so quickly. It's just like one after the other. So let's get going with the rest of it so we can start potting it up. All right, fam, and just like that, the sofrito is done. So all I need to do now is potted up in bowls, and I have an array of sizes of them. I have not broken into my glass Tupperware yet, because I want to do a video on them, showing them to you and letting you know where I got them, because I did get a nice deal on them. But once I do that, because I'm not going to bring you guys along for that, because this is a very tedious process, and this video is probably long, and oof, she's tired and she still got to cook, and it is 6:25. I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. I just can't seem to do this earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and pot this up. The consistency is amazing. I already showed that to you guys. I'm happy where it's at. It's not totally red. Not that I was looking for totally red, but it's a nice consistency of green and red flecks. So I'm happy. So I'm going to pot it up, and I'm going to let you know how many bowls I got. I currently have a bowl in my fridge from the last batch that I made, which obviously I'm going to be using that first. I'm currently using that now, because you want to use the old and leave the new for, you know, later on. So everything from this batch is going to be going in my freezer, whether it's my regular freezer from the fridge or my deep freezer if I have space, because that thing is pretty full. So doubt that's going there. So yeah, so this is pretty much what we're at. So let's pot this up. So guys, here's the finished product, the Puerto Rican sofrito. We literally ended up with 6 of these green Tupperwares and one of the, I think that's 12 or 14 of these ice cube silicone bottom easy push out ice cube trays, but we're using them for sofrito. I only did one of those trays because it's an experiment for me, so I didn't want to go ahead and do too many and then have my sofrito ruined. So anywho's, so this is the finished product. Now this is going to last me for a while, so I already went ahead and cleaned up the Ninja, and she's over there drying, and she's like, girl, I deserve a well vacation. So this is where we're at. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the stove so I can cook a dinner and hopefully feed my fam, because they are hungry. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you can please like, comment in the section below if this is the way that you were taught how to make sofrito, or if you do it a different way, if you will be implementing this into your family's routine, or if you will and be changing it. Please let me know. I would like to hear all the comments in the comment section below. Also, like the video, share the video so that YouTube knows that you are liking and enjoying the videos that are coming out of our channel. It will also help the algorithm so that YouTube recommends our videos to other watchers, that so that they can enjoy as much as you guys are enjoying us. And remember that you guys are our extended family and friends, and that we love you always. And as always, guys, we will see you on our next video. Bye.